I do want to say this too before we get started. It is that when it comes to being in a close relationship, meaning when it comes to marriage,
Hmm.
conflict is inevitable.
Correct.
And so that's the one thing that I will say that's the foundation I do want
If
to
you
lay.
believe your marriage is in need of coaching, Shamika and I are certified marriage and life coaches. Just log into our website, www.hiswifeherhusband.net, to book your discovery call.
Wives, if you are looking for one-on-one coaching, put his wife in the notes section.
Husbands, if you are looking for one on one coaching, put her husband in the notes section.
Husbands and wives, if you are looking for marriage coaching as a couple, put his wife, her husband in the notes section.
Remember, our purpose is to help you build
And sustain your marriage.
from a biblical perspective.
So go on over to www.hiswifeherhusband.net to schedule your discovery call today. We have talked about communication. We've talked about finances. I believe we talked about faith. I'm not 100%
We,
positive on.
we haven't done faith yet.
Okay, so we're
Mhm.
going to address that. But when it comes to being married, you're going to bump and bruise one another. You're going to say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You're
Mhm.
going to use the wrong tone. You're not going to address the situation as you should. And so I do want to share to make sure that you allow space for grace, that that you do not be hard on yourself when you bruise your spouse,
Mhm.
right? But the art to continuing in marriage is the recovery, is knowing how to handle the offense or the conflict that arise.
Mhm.
And that's what we will be talking about
I'm gonna use the last part because I don't. Oh, she said Nanya.
tonight.
That's good. Are you all married, Nanya?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mick.
That was all. And so, yeah, we just want to make sure that as you are, whether you are new to marriage, you're newlyweds, or let me even say this, if you're premarital,
Okay.
if you are
Cool.
in those curve years, that seventh year, 14th year, 25th year, if you are well off into marriage, like
Mhm.
conflict is going to happen. So
Mhm.
don't panic when you bump and bruise each other. The idea, I will say, the one thing that we want to make sure is that our heart and our minds are in the right place, and that it is never our intention to hurt our spouse.
Mhm.
It is never our intent to even cause any discomfort, because life is already full of those things.
Right.
So you don't want those things to be found in the home or in your relationship, in
Mhm.
your marriage. Yeah.
That's good. All right. So I'm gonna go over the five conflict management styles, and then I want to tackle. I definitely want to tackle two for sure, and
Okay.
then because I'm gonna go over them, um, you'll be able to. Here's one thing I want you to do, Nanya. I want you to email us so we can have your email address, and I'll send this to you. Send an email or email us at inspire
You can do that too. That's funny.
his wife, her husband, 97 at gmail.com. His wife, go ahead, Shamika, read them out on the first.
Which one did you want me to go?
Go to the one where it's just,
Okay. The compromising and avoiding.
well, we're going to read all five of them. Yeah,
All
read
right.
that one. Just
All
read
right.
all five of them.
Okay, so there are five conflict management styles. The first one is competing. The second one is collaborating. The third one is compromising. When I saw the word compromising, I thought compromising. But anyway, compromising. The fourth is avoiding. And the fifth is accommodating. And did you want me to get a description or?
You can give a description of all of them.
Okay, so competing, a brief description on competing. A competitive approach to conflict management is assertive and uncooperative. A win lose stance. This style involves standing up for one's rights or interests at the expense of others.
Hmm. Go ahead. That's the next one.
All right, collaborating. Collaboration involves working with others. Let me say this, working with your spouse to find a solution that fully satisfies the concerns of both of you. It is both assertive and cooperative, the opposite of avoiding. Then we have compromising. Compromising is moderately assertive and cooperative. It seeks a solution that will at least partially satisfy both of you. Each party makes concessions to reach an agreement. Then we have avoiding. Avoiding is unassertive and uncooperative.
Hmm.
When spouses using this style tend to be diplomatically, they sidestep an issue or simply withdraw from a threatening situation.
So,
We have one more.
one more.
Okay. Then you have accommodating.
Oh yeah.
Accommodating is unassertive and cooperative, the opposite of competing. This style involves self sacrifice, yielding to another's point of view, even against one's own interest.
So one of the things I know for me, so I'm looking at both of the styles, and the one of the way that the guy described it, he was saying collaborating is win-win, compromising is lose-lose. For me, actually, I think they should be one in the same. In other words, compromising and uh, collaborating should be the same thing. Here's why. Only because it's my definition.
That's good.
Because when I saw it, I thought, well, my definition of compromise, meaning there's a win-win and a lose-lose. In other words, we both win something and we both lose something at
Mhm.
the same time. If I
Mhm.
want A and B, Shamika wants C and D, in a conversation that we have, after we converse with one another, I'll get A, she'll get C, which means I lose B, she lose D. But that takes an intentional conversation. It may take more than one conversation to have, but when you're dealing with conflict management, typically you can really compromise when um, there isn't a lot of hostility going on,
Uh huh.
and you're better able to have that conversation where you can figure out what's going on. So the goal in any conflict, though, the goal is always to compromise
To
or
reach an
compromise
agreement.
and collab.
I would say
Hmm.
the idea is to reach some form of agreement.
Right.
And so I do want to give a caveat here too, because here at his wife, her husband, we're assuming that everyone is in a somewhat diplomatic and healthy
Correct.
marriage relationship.
Correct.
Of course, if you are in danger or if your children are in danger, like there is never allowance for physical, emotional, like this oppressive abuse.
Hmm.
That toxicity, no one can thrive in it. This is like um, everyday living. Like this is not you getting hit and beat and you like terrorized. Like you have to seek help and do it immediately.
Hmm. But
Uh-huh.
but but even for that, so let's take that there's a marriage where there is this great conflict, and it's not the person or the spouse is not reasonable.
Mhm.
That's why I'm saying there are five different conflict management styles. That's when you I got you. That's when you use the avoidance, because the avoidance may need to happen at this particular point
Yeah.
because my life is in danger.
Yeah.
So at this point, if he's like, or he or she is yelling and they appear to
It's
be
very hostile.
about to
Yeah.
be where it could be violent, and it
Yes.
could it could go off on the deep end, then at that point you do want to use the
For
avoidance
the
thing.
full unedited version of the podcast, consider becoming a Patreon member for as little as $5 a month. With the membership, you will gain access to be able to ask questions during a live podcast. So click the link below to join now.